The lesson.
Oh yeah.
So that was Trap Sessions 1. And then before you did the thing with Alex Jones and Husky, so before you did Petrol, you did another thing on Body Bag Media for season 2 of Body in the Booth. Now, one thing I remember from this is that judging by the comment section, this was like one of the Body in the Booths that people really weren't feeling as much as...
I think
do you remember the comment section and all that?
To be honest, like, I don't know, it's not the healthiest thing to go reading comments on the internet. No matter who you are, if they're your own comments or they're somebody else's. Like, have you ever just been scrolling through comments and eventually like, what the fuck am I doing here? But yeah, no, I think there's a bunch of videos that I've done that the comment section is good for a laugh. But no, it was just because, you know, I didn't sit there and write like a thing for Body in the Booth. I just had some bars that I'd already put into another track, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just do this. And, you know, obviously you can see that there wasn't really a lot of effort put into it lyrically. So yeah, if you want me to do another Body in the Booth, I'll do it. I'll do a better one, I promise.
Now, it was after that one that's when you've done Petrol with Alex Jones and Husky.
Yeah, it took, there was probably like maybe a year's gap between that though.
Ah, okay.
Like it wasn't instantly after, yeah. So I was releasing like a bunch of other shit. Because I'd be releasing like a track every couple of weeks at one point. Like there was probably like 70 something songs on my SoundCloud.
Yeah, okay. So however long it was after your second Body in the Booth,
yeah,
then that's when you've dropped Petrol with Alex Jones and Husky.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, in the opinion of myself and tons of other people that follow the game, Alex Jones is considered to be
the GOAT.
You know, one of, if not the best of all time in Australia.
Yeah. Like he's definitely a Melbourne GOAT, 100%.
Now, it's a pretty big statement whether it's Melbourne or Australia-wide, because both Melbourne and Australia has some really good rappers.
Alex Jones is, I reckon, it's all, you know, in the eye of the beholder, right? But at the end, like I think it's best to put it in like a generational context, you know? Like you've got Trem, you've got, you know, Alex Jones, you've got Brad Strutt, you've got Kid Selzy, like you've got all these different styles of rap. Like how can you know, it's like saying, oh, the dude who swam the 100 meters gets the gold and not the guy who did shot put. It's like you put them in different categories for a reason. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's always fun to have a bit of banter about who's the best and like, nah, these bars are fucking better. But at the end of the day, like you're listening to music, guys. Like it's not a fucking sport.
Now, I guess I'm going to assume that was the first time that you guys worked on a song together, but that wasn't the first time that you guys had met?
I'd met Alex a couple of times beforehand. I definitely knew like a bunch of people that he knew as well. But because I'd listened to Alex like before he'd even put out like My Life and stuff like that. So he was a massive inspiration for me growing up. Like me and my mate would just sit in my ute and just fucking pump fucking all these different like East Side fucking like Melbourne rap, and like Flea would be featured on a lot of these kinds of tracks and stuff, and then we just found like Flea was just way better to listen to, and so we just like he had a mixtape. I don't know if I can't find it on YouTube anymore, but some of those bars, bro, like they are fucking like insane. Like yeah, that shit was crazy.
And so I'm going to assume that collaboration happened through Husky, because you'd already done stuff with Husky before?
Yeah, like like Alex and Husky definitely wanted to link up on a track for sure. And like, I think we all were just sort of like in the same sort of circle at that time. And so just like, it just happened, you know? It wasn't any sort of like, oh, let's do this and we're going to go to this studio and I'll record my verse and I'll send it to you. We were just all in my place, all in, I had the way I recorded all those tracks, Servo and like Centerfold and Healthy Peas and all that shit, it was recorded in a fucking like 1 bedroom fucking tiny ass flat, and I had a couch in there instead of a bed, and just on my MacBook recording on GarageBand with a fucking shitty mic, and that's how we did the whole thing, just fucked off our heads, just fucking like Husky just saying go harder, or fucking Flea just doing his thing like fucking a wizard, and like it was just insane to be in that sort of atmosphere. And I think like you can probably almost hear in my raps when I'm rapping around other rappers that I definitely look up to, like I'm probably pushing myself a little bit harder and like trying to actually give something that I feel is worth giving. Whereas, you know, a lot of other tracks that I've done, you can tell it's just like I'm just fucking around.
Now, when you speak to a lot of people, you know, like I said, they will put him in the #1 spot all time, or he's always in that conversation. However, he doesn't have, I guess, the big accolades that go along with being the best in the country at something. Now, for yourself,
a lot of people
as
don't
someone,
have accolades, but yeah,
that is true. But I guess 2 parts of the question. Number 1, would you agree or disagree with that? And number 2, if you agree with that, why do you think that is?
He definitely deserves more respect and more appreciation from the industry. You know what I mean? Like he's got the streets love forever. You know, like he's gonna be one of those artists that influence every younger generation. You know, like all the old heads will talk about him, and then the old heads of them will talk about him. Like it's just, he's one of those artists that like is able to deliver poetry in a rap form, similar to like Husky. You know. But yeah, it's like the way I see it is that if you're not a part of the cool kid club, or if you like do something to piss off a couple of the cool guys, then you don't get to be a part of the next party, you know? Like you don't get invited. And basically what that does is either like splits apart and you get 2 different, you know, factions that kind of hate each other, which is kind of like how you have like conscious rap versus gangster rap. And it's basically like a similar thing that's happening here, except that the weird thing here is that because provocative rap is such a, you know, a milkable product, fucking a lot of the industries would rather have somebody that looks conscious, or that seems to be conscious, or that does conscious things, or, you know, is a good person in the media's eyes, but all they do is rap about fucked up shit. And it's like, you know, it's interesting how a lot of people who have proven themselves lyrically time and time again get overlooked because of somebody who's a known criminal, or somebody who's, you know, in a big gang or some shit like that. And I just think it's interesting how the sort of grassroots base that has grown what we now know as Oz rap is completely like shunned and like pushed aside by all of these other radio groups and all these fucking industries and stuff, because these big companies, because it's not sellable. You know, like a dude wearing TNs with some baggy shorts and a polo, that's not going to sell overseas. They will sell to a small market here in Australia, but most people in Australia watch The Simpsons and South Park, and they listen to American music, and they buy American clothes, and they follow American trends, but at the same time they go, oh, Americans are so stupid. And it's like, you know, they fall in love with their hypocrisies, and they can't see past it. And so I don't know if it will ever change, but I definitely agree that Alex Jones should have gold plaques on his wall, you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, you know, I don't discredit anybody who has put in the hard work and who has gotten into the industry, because that's a fucking hard job on its own. And a lot of those dudes, if the tables were turned, if the situation was different, they'd be the ones on the you know, short straw end. So I don't see it at all being any artist's fault. It's literally these fucking grunky, rich fucking Muppets that are obsessed with having another fucking Mercedes-Benz or another fucking Bentley or some shit. And, you know, like, we all fucking get on our hands and knees and fucking pray to these cunts because they hide themselves away in their fucking rich-ass mansions. And so we hate on the fucking upper middle class because we think that's what wealth is, but you've got no idea what wealth actually looks like, because it's running your fucking life.
The lesson. 927. Oh yeah.